see what we see for right now until we see at least 7 people in the room.
Shalom, shalom.
7's a good number. We love the number 7.
These coconuts look scrumptious, is all I'm saying.
Yes, so we are live. We are live. Hallelujah. It's a good day to wake up and know that the Most High is doing what He's doing. His promise is real.
Yeah, has led you to a place of safety because obviously in the world, everywhere is not safe.
Yeah. Yeah, we just wanted to let you guys see all this wind that's happening, right? So the last couple weeks, it's been it's been beautiful. What do you think? It's been hot.
Yeah, it's been extremely hot. I
It's been
thought it was
extremely
the
hot.
cold season,
It's been we've
but
been
it's not.
swimming every day. Um, but these last couple of days, these last what? I say 3 days. The last 3 days, this wind been picking up.
Yeah, it has.
Like it's crazy. Like it seems like this coconut tree gonna fall over.
No, it's not. It don't seem
I
like
know.
it's gonna
I'm
fall
just
over.
playing.
You extreme.
Okay. You like, come on, man.
All right, guys, we're gonna flip the camera around. We just want to show you all the view that is wonderful. But today, so guys,
Yeah, shalom, family. Welcome. Look,
this is
7 people.
crazy.
Like
This
you
is
said.
crazy. I know
Yeah.
y'all just woke
Make sure
up.
you like the video. Give us a like. If you're tuning in to the chat. And yeah, you ready to get right into it,
Yeah,
man.
they just woke up. It's crazy things happening. Obviously, I love how with being on this side of the world, we get to greet our brothers and sisters in America with what's going on in the news headlines. And so they can receive news that is not CNN funded. You know, I love that we get to do that and we have that ability to just show up. You know, you guys are waking up over in America. I don't know what time it is. Let us know what time it is at the link in the or in the comments. Because what we're seeing right now is that Dubai airport is flooded with a year's worth of rainfall. How does
Yeah,
that
that's
happen?
crazy. It's literally in the
According to
airport.
Yahoo.
It's in the airport. The videos that I've seen, it's like a flood inside the airport. So just imagine you trying to go to the airport and you really it's floods inside. Like just say in Tanzania or where you
Yeah.
live in Tanzania, you know the part where you got to go check your bags in and stuff.
Yeah.
It's flooded right there. The videos I've seen.
That's overwhelming.
Man, it's getting
That's
so crazy.
overwhelming.
It is because even the pictures and videos that we see about Israel, people leaving Israel too, but it's not flooded there, but it's so
It's a
crowded there.
war zone. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's trying to flee somewhere to a secret place, to a place of safety.
Yeah, because this Dubai flooding, and I'm just going to read some of the headlines. Dubai floods, 28 Indian flights have been canceled. Emirates holds check-ins due to heavy rainfall. What we know so far is a total of 28 Indian flights have been canceled by the heavy rainfalls. The Emirates airline stopped check-ins for the day. They're trying to restore rescued flight operation and restore flight operations and assist affected customers. And so this is picking up because the western side of the world is waking up, and so they're like reporting it every 15 minutes, every 2 hours. But for the people that come and say, oh, the 400-year prophecy, oh, there's nothing happening in the world, oh, everything's good, obviously it's not. Obviously the Most High is angry, right?
Yes, like
That should be clear. Let's
I told you, look, we should have titled the video, "Do you believe now?" Do you
Yeah.
like the people that's watching? Give us a 7 in the room if you believe that the Most High is starting to judge the whole earth,
Yeah.
because that's what it is. It's floods everywhere. I believe it was flooding like around Africa too. South Africa, Tanzania was saying there's a
South
big
Africa,
floods.
yep.
It's just heavy rainfall. It's rainy season. Um, Here where we are, it seems pretty
It's
a
pretty
secret
chill.
place. Yeah,
It's pretty calm.
it's a secret place, and just like when the wind's blowing, you know.
It's very calm here.
So, but it's still the weather's still like kind of hot. The sun is still shining. Yes, we got a couple 7s in the room. That's good.
Yeah, I
So I'm
mean,
glad that we got at least 3 people that believe the Most High.
that's it, just 3 people. Dang, the struggle. But yeah, with this flooding. And so, we've been talking also recently in our videos about the Iran Israeli conflict. And so you have all these things that are happening across the world. Obviously, America is going to have to get involved. Obviously, Dubai is under judgment. And just looking at how Dubai has treated the Most High's people, his people in Uganda that go there, his people from Kenya who go there, they come back. I don't know if y'all pay attention to some of these videos that they have about how those people in Dubai and Oman treat African people. But we can see the Most High saying, that's enough oppressing my people. He's flipping the script. He's saying, no, no, no. I'm going to restore them. I'm going to stick up for them.
Yeah.
Because let's slow this down. Dubai airport is flooded with over a year and a half worth of rain in 24 hours.
How? Ooh.
Over a year and a half.
Is that the look? You know how say in the scriptures, one day to the Most High is like, or 1 hour.
1,000 years.
Yeah.
One day is like 1,000 years.
Yeah. Stuff is starting to speed up. Like y'all, look, people better start to get prepared and go to your secret place.
And FYI, just so everybody knows, guess what? We always talk
centimeters or things like that.
We always talk about the West African slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, but a lot of us, and we didn't know this till we went to Tanzania and traveled Africa, the slave trade started with the Arab slave trade. And so guess what? He's flooding these areas that, guess what, wanted to come down to the Swahili coast, take people from the Congo, bring them through Tanzania, bring them through Kenya, ship them to Zanzibar, then ship them to the Arab world.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just reading that scripture with y'all yesterday. Go check out that live if you haven't seen it, where the Most High says, those who oppressed you, I am going to judge them, and I'm going to turn it back on them. And then the next day, literally, you see these floods coming in. And this is the power in speaking the word, because we have to also believe that we even have the power to speak the word of the Most High, so that when these things need to happen, we're in line with his judgment, because he calls us his weapons of war. In the scripture, it says that we are his weapons of war, because he has to use a vessel. He is a spirit. The Most High is a spirit. He is the most potent spirit there is, but he uses his own laws, which means he has to use vessels on earth to get his message to come across.
Exactly. And when you read the scriptures, you understand that the way that Israel, the way that Zion, the way that the people of the Most High fought was to praise him.
Yep.
So it's a time to be joyful. It's a time to praise him. Understand the time that you're in, because it's time to be, grateful for him. Dang.
That's our friendly neighborhood dogs that come by.
Yeah, they I don't know what they looking for. But they getting somebody. But it's time to praise him. It's time to give him praise every day, all day, no matter where you are. Just meditate on his word.
Yeah. I did want to see if we can show you guys, because you guys are saying like the how much rain it was. Guys, definitely go, just do a quick Google search, look at some of these pictures. You can actually go on the Telegraph, which is an international news channel, and they show you exactly what it looks like in Dubai right now. It looks absolutely insane. And you will quickly see that it's more.
It's so much going on.
It's much more than 5 inches. It's I'm gonna see if I can pull up a picture.
You just gotta picture it. If you go to an airport, there's a parking lot. There's some steps up to go to, just like the regular base floor 0. So that's at least 5-6 inches right there, and that's a little flooded. Like you kicking water in that area right there.
Yeah, it's crazy because the whole city is flooded. So here's some of the photos. And y'all know Dubai has super, super tall buildings. And so with the tall buildings flooding, it may look like, oh, it's not a whole lot. But 1 year's worth of rainfall inside of a desert nation is groundbreaking. It is crazy, because in that area of the Middle East, they usually don't get a bunch of rain. And so that's definitely a signal of judgment. That's a signal of the times. That's a signal of what's to come. And the Most High is marking these territories, showing you what he's going to do to the nations. And that's why we always tell you guys that you have to be prepared for what's coming. You have to be in position because you have warfare on the Western world that's happening, in the Middle Eastern world, whatever you like to call that segment of the earth that is super small and super hot and in chaos right now. Obviously, there's war. And so the only logical safe place is to go to Africa.
What's this? Let's play this for them.
Will they be able to see it? Or we could,
We did it
okay, we
last
could
time.
change the camera.
Didn't we do it last time?
Yeah, let's try that. Maybe we can change the camera.
Let me do it, because you play it.
Yeah, hopefully they can see it. Just zoom in super close.
Go ahead, play it.
Ooh, that's crazy. Y'all see that? Fair
Heavy
use.
thunderstorms lashed the UAE, dumping over a year and a half's worth of rain on the desert city-state of Dubai in the span of hours. The rains began on April 15, soaking the sands and roadways of Dubai with some 20 millimeters of rain, according to the meteorological data collected at Dubai International Airport. The storms intensified on April 16 and continued throughout the day, dumping more rain and hail over the overwhelmed city. By the end of April 16, more than 142 millimeters of rainfall had soaked Dubai over 24 hours. An average year sees 94.7 millimeters of rain at Dubai International Airport, the world's busiest for international travel and a hub for long-haul carrier Emirates. At the airport, standing water lapped on taxiways as aircraft landed. Police and emergency personnel drove slowly throughout the flooded streets of Dubai, their emergency lights shining across the darkened roads. Lightning flashed across the sky, occasionally touching the tip of Burj Khalifa. The city's driverless metro saw disruptions and flooded stations as well. Schools across UAE, a federation of 7 sheikdoms, largely shut ahead of the storm, and government employees were largely working remotely if able. Many workers stayed home as well, though some ventured out, with the unfortunate stalling out their vehicles in deeper than expected water covering some roads. Authorities sent tanker trucks out into the streets and highways to pump away the water. Water also poured into some homes, forcing people to bail out of their houses.
Yeah, guys, that's what's happening in Dubai right now as we speak. Yeah, that. What do y'all think of that? Let us know in the comments. What do you guys think in the chat? Is that just normal for a desert nation to receive that much rainfall? Is that just like, oh, everything's good? It's just normal. Nothing's happening on Earth. Earth is just fine. America's fine. Everybody's fine, right? Everything's good. True or false? Let us know. Let us know in the chat because we want to communicate with y'all on that topic.
Yeah, let us know if you think that that video um, clears up some things, because it's cars flooded. Uh, the video that I saw, I think it was on Facebook or something. It was a plane actually landing in the water uh, at the airport, and it was like bringing the water up to the engines. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. That's dangerous right there. That's serious right there.
Absolutely, Michael. Dubai is at the top of the list. We try to tell the nations, thank the Most High, glorify, because His judgment is very near. It's already here.
Oh, it's here.
It's here.
It's here.
And so you might as well just get right. You might as well get right, get smart, get in repentance. But of course, they won't do that. So,
Yeah.
But another news headline that's really interesting that I just
Give
typed
us a
in.
like, guys. Give us a like. Make sure you like the video.
Now, let me know what you think about this, babe, because this one you haven't heard. Okay, you ready? I'm going to tell you what it is. An hour ago, from the Independent, the Middle East said live, clear, Israel has chosen to retaliate to Iran.
Yeah, I mean, they will.
Israel has chosen to retaliate. They said, clear, everybody get out. Who knows what they're about to do? Who knows what the repercussions are of that on a global basis? But we do know how you can stay safe. You can stay safe by being in countries that do not have nuclear warfare.
Yeah.
Start looking into that. Which countries don't have nuclear warfare? And it becomes really clear here. I'll just give you a hint about a certain continent. It's called Africa. They don't use nuclear warfare. And so that automatically means that you are not a target in times of war. If you are in a country that does not have a wonderful military presence, then that means you're not a target in times of war. You get forgotten about and you get to do Psalms 91 in real time.
Yeah.
Which is hiding under the Most High.
You really gotta find that secret place, not a place where it's gonna be chaos. Because most of the people right now is probably in America. That's chaos. That's so confusing.
I think
your president, he's talking about, yeah, we're not gonna help them, and then the next day he said, oh, we are gonna help them.
No, he didn't say he's gonna help.
Or he's not gonna get
said
involved.
they are going to do, because the U.S. was telling them that we don't want you to do this. The United Nations was telling Israel, we don't think you should react. Iran didn't really kill anybody, so just like calm down. Israel was like, nope, we're going in, clear out.
That's what it is.
That's white pride. That's Japheth Ashkenazi pride.
Yeah, he just gonna pump up their chest. That's what it is. I remember our last video, he was talking about pride. That's just what it is.
Leviathan spirit. That's crazy. Because for you to genocide a people and then just be, I can't get into it on this line.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
everything is timely. Like the Most High said, it just goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The Most High said, Isaac, I'm gonna choose you for the covenant. You're gonna have the promise. Ishmael, you're gonna be blessed. And as you see, a lot of people's blessed in that area.
Yeah.
And continue gonna be blessed. But now the time is up. And now judgment is here. It's literally, how did you treat the chosen people? And that's what it is.
Yeah. Because I mean, this stuff, and it's by the day with these headlines, y'all. By the day. The key points on Yahoo News: U.S. to hit Iran with new sanctions in coming days. Clear, Israel has decided to retaliate. Israeli war cabinet to meet for the third time in 3 days. EasyJet suspends flights to Israel, threats to Iran's nuclear facilities. So Iran, in response, said they are ready for any attack. So they're like, bring it on, do what you want.
They've been waiting for years.
They have. They've been waiting
for years. So.
They've been waiting.
Yeah, and they got Russia back and China on the back. So it is what it is.
So for you guys in the States, this is a prime time to really ask yourself, where do I want to be in World War III? That's the question. It's a hard question.
World War III.
It's a hard question when you want to just pretend that you can, shop in Target and just like chill and, just go about your business. But the reality is you need to ask yourself, where does my family need to be in World War III in times of war? And just look back on World Wars I and II to see how those went down. To see what America was like. It impacted America, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even though the actual warfare wasn't on American soil.
And you got to think about the financial part too, because that's just war.
War increases rates all over the place. The price of food, that's where you see in Revelations that it's going to be more money for a simple loaf of bread. So you're going to start seeing elevated prices just because it's times of war. And so it would only make sense that you're like, okay, where do I go in the world that's number one, safe and out the way of world war, that does not have nuclear bases? Where do I go? Number two, where do I go that has peace, a country that has a track record of peace and doesn't have enemies? Number three, where do I go where I can actually live and enjoy my life and not be bothered? And so for us, the obvious solution to that was Africa. When we wanted to move abroad, those were the top three things we looked for, and we still look for when we're moving around, when we're traveling, and when we're doing things, because I honestly can't believe that South America would be a safe space in times of war. I think that a lot of crime would increase. I think that craziness would increase because you already have these like different cartels down in South America. You have all these different cartels in different areas, right? And so I just would absolutely not go there. On the flip side, you have countries in Africa where I would absolutely not go. Like, for example, I would go to Congo to travel, but I would absolutely not go to the eastern side of Congo if I wanted to be safe, right? And so this is the geopolitical wisdom that you have to use to understand what's going on in the world and where am I going to be safe at. Because the countries that have nuclear bases, i.e. America, Britain, Russia, China, those are not going to be safe spaces. Those are automatic targets because if somebody wants to nuke another nuclear country, they're going to nuke them, obviously. They're not going to nuke the countries or drop bombs on the countries that aren't their targets. So you have to understand warfare at an easy foundation level to avoid being caught in the trap.
Yeah. And they're going to use Africa too. They're going to use the African people.
Yeah.
So, it's best to be out of the midst of stuff because America got a lot of sins and they're going to have to be paid. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be an attack on America too, or it's going to be war there too.
Yeah.
If it's not civil war, it's going to be a world war.
Yeah, it will be. It's inevitable.
And they tell you, just the movies they just dropped on Netflix.
Civil War. We gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's like, man, it's really written.
Yeah. So that's the next question. Do you want to be in America when that war starts? Would you want to have troops on the ground and you're like waving at the troops? That's a real question. We gotta get real. It's a hard conversation, but we have to get real because I mean, hopefully, if this could save you and your children's lives, if this could help y'all to enjoy life and just live peacefully and not struggle. Because guess what? When you have casualties of war, that means people get dispersed throughout different territories to be enslaved. That's what war is. Like, and this is why learning history is so important. When they had and you could really call it the transatlantic war, when a country wants to go in and invade another country, they're not just going to, like fight. They're going to take casualties and take prisoners of war with them. And so I would suggest you guys be out the way of that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Casualties of war.
Yeah, they like that. That's why Israel said they attacked. They went for Pacific people, but I guess it was written somewhere where you can't attack a embassy. But that's what they did. But they made an excuse saying, "Hey, no, we was aiming for these people, and they was in that building."
That's how psychological witchcraft is with them folks.
That's just what it is.
They write their own rules, so it's a shame. But we do have some solutions for you guys since we were talking about all of these issues and all of these changings that are happening. Another part of this video is we're going to tell you which countries in Africa have the lowest rates of corruption. This is very critical when you're coming out of a country that is not stable, because America is not stable. America has the highest violence, the highest, what do you call it, mass shooting rates.
America is the highest witchcraft.
The highest everything bad. And so you want to come out and come to a place of safety. And so there are a couple countries in Africa that have the lowest corruption. Now, being from America, you may be like, okay, well, what do you mean corruption? I mean bureaucratic corruption, where you come into the country, they say they're going to provide one thing, and then they twist the story, lie, and basically try to get you out your money. But these countries that are listed, these 9 countries do not do that. So here they are.
Well, as far as we know.
These are the lowest in corruption. You can verify. It's not anything like countries that have been proven. For example, the 3 most corrupt countries right now, according to the African Business Insider, is Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing like that. So these are like actually verified low corruption. And by the way, this is from the Nomad Capitalist. And so
I guess I'll talk to you about that later.
And so number 1, you have Ghana. Number 2, you have Senegal. By the way, Senegal is visa-free for Americans. Number 3, you have Sao Tome and Principe, which is an island off the west coast of Africa. Number 4, you have Mauritius, which is an island towards the east part of Africa. Number 5, you have Namibia. Namibia just looks stunning. Yes, Namibia is visa-free for African Americans, for Americans. And by the way, Namibia also has a digital nomad visa. If you're someone that does remote work, you have flexible entrepreneurship, you can go to Namibia, get a digital nomad visa, and it's only like $60. Okay. Next, we have Rwanda. Rwanda is the cleanest country in Africa. That's what they are called. They have really rebuilt themselves after the war. It's a phenomenal country from what I hear. We have not been there yet, but from what I see and hear about it from people who have been there, it's super beautiful, extremely, extremely low on corruption. Botswana is number 8. And then Seychelles is number 9. Seychelles is a country that's towards the east part of Africa as well. It's an island country. And so, again, that was from the Nomad Capitalist on which countries in Africa are lowest on corruption. Of course, America has corruption, but it's a different type that's legalized corruption, African corruption. It's basically
right
on a different level. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right in your face where you may have people. Oh, that's a good example. There was a lady from what European country? She was a backpacker and a motorcycler
What's the first
driving.
country?
She was a
What was the first
backpacker
country?
and a motorcycler going through
Ghana.
Nigeria.
Ghana was the first country.
She was going through Nigeria on motorcycle, and these immigration agents like pulled her over, and they're like, "Hey, we want money from you. Give us some money." And she's like, "I didn't do anything. Why am I giving you money?"
Didn't she like go through like multiple countries and every border pass she had to pay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this was when she's already in the country.
Yeah.
They were like armed soldiers, like, "Hey, give us money,
Yeah, that's
give
like
us money."
that's like Dar es Salaam, or you know, when we travel, the police stops us
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, you're not supposed to wear flip flops while you
Oh,
drive."
that's a good story. That's what they told you. Don't wear
Yeah.
flip flops while you
And
drive.
I'm like, what?
That's corruption we're talking.
Let
Just
me. I
goofy
gotta see
stuff.
the rule. Can you show me that rule in your handbook? Oh, my internet is not working. Go ahead, just go.
Then what do they say? Can you give me some lunch?
Yeah. So you just gotta know how to deal with
Oh
these people.
gosh.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
But it's not like that in every country because the other countries, they're that was funny when they were talking about the chicken and chips. I'm sorry, that was funny. Other countries don't do that as much. So this is why this list is so important for you guys, so that you can not be what's that word I'm looking for? Taken advantage of for being American, okay? So those were the least on corruption. Y'all feel free to leave your questions in the comments because yeah, it's going to help you to know the least corrupt countries. I personally, now that we've been in Africa for 4 years, going on 5 years, I personally would not go to a country that I haven't heard anything about. I used to think that was a good thing. But knowing how African dynamics are now, I would only go to countries that I see some type of online presence where they're welcoming people in, or where I know diaspora have gone and established themselves. I would not go to a country that I have not heard anything about, because you run the risk right there. A lot of times, if you don't hear anything about some of these countries, it's because they got strange things going on. Okay. And so that's why you want to go to a place with low corruption and a high peace index. And then you want to match your skill set to the economy, because it's one thing to land in a country, but if you want to have any longevity, you don't just show up, on a 30 or 60-day visa. You're going to have to match your skill set to the country so that you can actually stay there. What do you have to say about that?
No, that makes sense. You gotta, and most of the skill sets that you get in America, you can teach people in Africa. I know we talk
It's
about it all
beautiful.
the time. Like that's literally the benefit of being in America. You kind of know what is coming up in Africa. So
Yeah.
you're pretty much ahead of the curve.
Yeah. That is really interesting. It's like being from the future and then going back in time.
Yeah.
And then the cool thing about it also is when you teach, like, let's say you want to do workshops on customer service at like a university in Kenya or something like that. By the way, Kenya is also a great one, but they didn't hit the list of the least in corruption. So if you want to teach workshops like that to Africans, or you want to teach like whatever it is you want to teach, you get to actually show them the way to do things that's not as corrupt and crazy as America. Like if you wanted to teach people about business, but you didn't want to use like a super, super pushy, salesy, manipulative approach, then you can do that. And then as a benefit to you, when you go in these communities and you're teaching on what you're skilled in, you automatically create a phenomenal network. Man, I had went to this networking event in Dar es Salaam in 2022 for other women entrepreneurs, and it paid off big time, not resource wise. It paid off in human capital, because in Africa, you need to know the right people. If you want to get in contact with the best lawyers, with some of the top executives in banking, with some of the top politicians, you have to go network. They're not going to be online, and they're not going to be at the airport with like a red carpet that says, hey, come meet us, African Americans. You have to go match your skill set to Africa and go find the people with a similar industry as you. For us, that's entrepreneurship and creativity and startup businesses and finance and content creation. So yeah, match your skill set. And then if you're a teacher, that's another one. We've worked with clients who have actually been employed in Rwanda. There's few teaching jobs, but sometimes it happens. Ethiopia, yeah. Worked with clients who they decided they were going to go to Tanzania, but they decided no, the shift in presidency. They went ahead and went to Ethiopia. Big family, beautiful. They're telling us some of the testimonies from the, working in the village, working in some of the assemblies and the churches out there, just beautiful testimonies. So people are really living their best lives, and all of them aren't on YouTube. And America won't report on this because America doesn't want you living your best life in Africa, but it's happening in enormous numbers. Zambia as well.
Yep. Everywhere. You just got to
Everywhere.
choose your secret place and abide in the Most High.
Yep. Another tangible thing you can do is actually look on the immigration websites for these countries to see, okay, which skill sets are they wanting? I know it's South Africa. You can look at their website and you can actually get a waiver for certain industries and pay less in taxes because they want certain industries. You can do the same thing for Namibia. You can do the same thing for Ghana, right? You can do the same thing for Nigeria, Senegal. Go to these websites, pick your top 3 countries, go to their websites and see what they want people to come for, because that's going to be your place of safety when you have community in that way, instead of the wrong thing that people do when they come to Africa and end up back in America. They just show up and they have no plan, and they didn't put any foresight or insight into their skill set to translate it to Africa. And so they just show up and they're like, why is it not working? Africa's horrible. Africa's not horrible. You just didn't have a plan. You didn't come to serve anyone. You just came to just jump on the plane and complain. Same thing with being in business. You can't just say you're going to be in business and then not want to serve anyone and educate people. That's not how life works. People aren't going to just hand stuff to you. So you have to go in and provide some type of value that people find. And I think that's like one of the things with America that really just made Americans so lazy. Americans are some of the most lazy people on the earth right now, because we've been in this consumer-based society where we're like, okay, well, just everything should be a microwave fix. Everything's not a microwave fix. You have to go out and do the work, go out and network, meet people, and enjoy your time while you do it. What do you have to say about networking? You did a lot of networking when we had those chickens in Tanzania.
Yeah, I'm more of a grounds person. I don't know.
That's networking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like getting out, talking to people.
Yeah, that's me.
Do you think that was valuable when you had the chickens?
Yeah.
Because you had how many chickens in Tanzania?
Of course.
You had like hundreds.
When you really want to do, because that's just Africa in general. You have to be on the ground to network, because they do stuff that way. They think marketing is passing out flyers. Put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
They think marketing is putting up posters on the electric pole.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So they're still used to that. So it's not bad to talk to the people that you know and say, hey, man, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you know anybody that...
Oh, they said it's static when we
this?
talk.
What?
Can you guys hear us?
It's very windy. Maybe
static is my thing. That no, it's still alive.
But yeah, that's the marketing here in Africa, and they're starting to catch up with like online marketing. So especially that's just me. That's just me. In the states, that's how I started my landscaping business. I went door to door. I would drive around, see whose grass might need cut, go knock and see, like, hey, you
Yep.
need your grass cut. I come back every 2 weeks, and that's how it is in Africa. So I'm pretty much used to that. Everybody that I
Yeah.
know, I'm asking that question, and by the end of the day, you'll probably get 10 response.
Yeah.
And that's how we found our house. Or well, no, you this one, but the last one, I
Okay.
just asked around,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
guy, I think it was the last house in the last minute, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just by
it
asking
was the
around.
next day. Yeah, Monday we saw the house, and we had to move Wednesday, and that was somebody that I just asked randomly, like, hey, you know anybody that's renting a house? And
Yeah.
he called his people. He was stressed out, and I'm like, just calm down, calm down. It's okay.
Just calm down.
It's 7 p.m. It's 7 p.m. Just calm down. You got my number.
Oh
Just message
gosh.
me later a little bit. Just he's like, oh no no, oh the guy he didn't pick up. I don't know what to do. I'm like, it's okay. I trust that everything's gonna work out. But that's how people are here in Africa.
Yeah.
Like really, if
Yeah.
like the Most High always lead you into those type of people.
Yeah.
Like they're very helpful. They're very helpful. And if they're not, that's not the right person for you.
Yeah.
So you just have to know your calling,
Yeah.
because the Most High is going to bring the people that's supposed to be around you, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And go outside the box, even if you feel like you're someone that doesn't know the language. Because, by the way, we don't go to countries where English is the first language. I don't know why we don't, but we just like the challenge. Okay. And so you don't have to go to an African country where English is the first language. You can communicate with people and learn another language.
Yeah, and like hand signals, and most of the people that you're gonna run into, they're pretty much educated too.
Yeah.
They probably had some years in college, probably more years. I know most of the people that I ran into, they got more college than me, or
Yeah. And
university than me. And I'm like, dang.
yeah,
But
a lot of them are real estate developers, business
exactly,
owners. Yeah.
a lot of people that I meet, they have their bachelor's degree already, and I'm like, dang, bro, I went to college for a year and a half and didn't finish. So, but that's us learning our skill set, learning our purpose, and knowing our talent to teach these people, hey man, you don't have to go to college. That's like a waste. You can do this. You can go to trade school or something and be good.
Yeah, because it's so sad when we were in Dar es Salaam. I think that was one of the things that was really sad. A lot of the students, they would go to the university, they would get out, and then they would talk to us and say, we don't know what to do.
Yeah,
We don't have any work. We went to college, but when we get out, we don't know what to do.
and that's yeah, man. I'm telling you, that's just what the world teaches.
Yeah, all over the world, across the whole world.
Yeah,
And the same thing is starting to happen in America. I was watching a YouTube video of a girl that was in marketing, but as a job, not as having her own product and not as serving other companies as a contract role. And she was like, I just got fired. I don't know what to do.
gotta
So
be
it's the
there.
same thing across the world. People just, it's more so in Africa or Tanzania specifically when we were there that students would go to the University of Dar es Salaam. They had bachelor's, master's, and they're like, man, there's nowhere to work. There's nothing to do. But
Yeah,
we've been so embedded and indoctrinated with this, oh, go to college, find a job, find a job. But we are meant to be creative entrepreneurs. We are meant to perfect
really.
our skill sets and to serve people. If part of that involves you going to college, then that's excellent, especially if it's like being an engineer, a lawyer, or a doctor or something like that where it's required. But make sure you also know entrepreneurship. And one free way to do that is by taking courses in HubSpot Academy. You can go on Coursera right now. There's so many courses. And then you
Udemy,
start
yeah.
building your
It's a
personal brand.
and it's sites out there where you can get free courses, like $100 courses.
Yeah.
You just gotta do your research. You gotta once you do that research, you can get free stuff and get a certificate.
Yep.
I did a couple of certificates in coding,
Yep.
and now I know how to code.
Like really. He really knows how to code.
So
Like
it's like, you know, if you want to do like photography. There's plenty of course, and YouTube is a university. Put it like that. I know a lot of people say that YouTube university. Really, do your research on YouTube. Like really, you can learn any and everything on YouTube.
Yeah, you can learn the foundations for most skills,
Yeah,
and then you can go and accelerate your skill set with a paid course or with a consulting so that you can grow your business beyond the foundations. But if when you're first starting out, like when we were back in Ohio, like years and years ago, just researching, we were on YouTube all the time,
exactly. Look,
looking on Google all the
that's
time.
how I learned how to change our starter in our car.
Oh yeah?
Man, we didn't have no car
Wow.
for a couple of days. I'm like, man, I got to get this together. I go on YouTube, and it's only one tool that I needed,
Wow.
and that's deep right there.
Yeah.
You do your research, and it's like, oh, really? I just need this tool. Remember, I had to go to Lowe's one time to get like a certain wrench,
Oh, okay.
and that's basically what it is. That's life. Do your
Yeah.
research. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean that it should stop you. Once you start to
Right,
understand,
right,
and it just might take one tool that you can go get, and it's very
yeah,
simple. And it's like, oh man, that's all.
right,
Dang, I should have been had this tool.
yeah. Do your
That's
read,
really what
yeah.
it is.
And research is a skill set. They don't teach you that in school. They don't really. The only research they want you to do is citations and stuff like that. But critical thinking is paramount,
Yeah, research is wisdom.
man. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Research
tell you
is
that.
wisdom because y'all can have so much. Like there's so much out there in these times for you. There's so much out there. You want to take questions now?
Is that all that we
I
was
think
supposed
that's
to cover?
everything. Yeah, infrastructure, safety, cost of living,
Dubai.
Dubai. Yeah, yeah. Lastly, for the topic, then we'll go into questions. When you're looking at these African countries, look at the infrastructure. Are you going to be able to do your online business, your remote work, whatever you're doing?
GDP too. That's important too.
Look at that gross domestic product to see what the country is making, to see if it's sustainable.
And what they import, what they outport. That's
Export.
important too. Or export. I've been code. Look, that's code language too.
Yeah, for sure. Safety, cost of living. You want to go somewhere with a phenomenal cost of living. That's like number three. Proximity to other safe countries. You don't want to be in somewhere that's a war zone. And then work life. You want to make sure you're somewhere because one disadvantage of being in some of the mega cities in Africa, because here in Africa, we got mega cities. Like Dar es Salaam, that's a mega city.
Oh yeah.
Johannesburg, mega city. These aren't like Columbus, Ohio. I don't know if New York and Los Angeles are like that. But for us from Columbus, Ohio, going to these big cities is like, ooh, that's overwhelming. It's too many people. It's too many cars. Too many. So you want to be in a city that is
Mm.
sustainable for your work life balance. Can you get to point A to point B
In a
without
good
it taking
time.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Because you're going to waste a lot of your time, and your time is your greatest asset. Your time is your greatest asset beyond any resource. Your time is valuable. And so we're in a place now where we can get things done in a great amount of time. Super fast internet, super fast, like everything is just really, really good from like the business work life perspective, as well as schooling with a 98% literacy rate. That's another thing we look into, literacy rates for our children, because literacy is super important to us. So that wraps it up for the topic. Any questions?
Yeah. Any questions, guys? Let us know. Make sure you like the video for us. Give us a thumbs up. Oh, that's a good one. And please put a Q in front of the question so we can stop
Oh,
and
that's good.
understand.
Good idea.
Let's see. We're gonna go all the way to the top. Shalom, family, and let us know where you guys are tuning in from. New England had floods too.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Let's see. Uh, Well, I think most of the questions was when we was talking.
Any questions? Leave your questions. What countries are you guys thinking about coming to in Africa? And why are you thinking about them? Then on the flip side, what makes you afraid of Africa? Let us know. What's
That's a
holding
good.
you back?
That's a good point. Somebody said, don't let all this stuff that's going on distract what's really important. What is really important?
Faith and action, because faith without works is dead. Somebody said, I'm not sure what my interest is. If you're someone who's not sure what your interest is, I want you to take out a sheet of paper and do not put any reservations on yourself. I want you to write down 5 things that you love to do, even if it's something like I love to color, I love to knit, I love to crochet, I love to research X, Y, and Z topic. Okay. Then you're going to write down 5 of your positions that you've held, and you're going to look at the industries that those positions are in. Once you have these 2 lists, you're going to look at both lists and see if there's any demand in the market for some kind of service offer for those interests and your background. Which countries are the least corrupt African countries based on your experience? So we've only lived in 2 African countries. We travel, but when we travel within the countries we're in.
How do you feel about corruption in Africa? Because I think we kind of look at it different.
Okay, what do you mean?
Go ahead.
I don't know what I was saying. You
How
interrupted
do
me.
how you feel about corruption in Africa?
Huh?
How do
That's
you
not
feel
the
about? I
question.
know, but I'm just asking you. How do you feel about corruption in Africa?
You're saying we look at corruption differently, me
Yeah,
and you?
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't mind corruption that's like, okay, let me put it like this. In Tanzania and many African countries, you have this thing, and it's not just Africa. They do this in Asia as well because we have connections that are all over the world and say the same thing. You have this negotiation. So if you want a shirt, by the way, we talk about this in Dream Life Africa, our best-selling travel e-course with over 99 students. So if you buy, you laughing at me.
As you talk so
If you
fast.
buy a dress, you want to go get your dress. That's a good story. Let's go back to that story. You're a tourist. You want to go buy. Look, I wanted to buy new dresses.
Okay,
You
go
didn't
ahead.
want to let me
Explain.
buy the dresses. The dresses were decent. I like paying people what they're worth. I know I get paid what I'm worth. I like to spend money with African people. That's no secret. I like to do that. And so this person tells you the dress is $20, but the cost of living is much lower in that country, and usually a local would usually get it for $10. And so you're negotiating, right? And you come to 15, and that's fine. But somebody else may come, an African, and come and be like, why you spend all that money? That's the lower corruption that you would deal with. So you may have spent a few extra dollars. But the corruption that I don't like, that's the corruption you'll see like if you're going to like a market or
I don't
something,
think. I think
an
that's
open
just
market.
that's what people gonna do. Point blank. Period. They gonna try to sell you a higher, especially if it's not a set price for it.
Yeah.
They gonna sell you a higher price until they can
Unfortunately.
get you. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but you don't lose out on that much money. The corruption that I hate in Africa is the bureaucratic corruption, where you have these governmental agencies that will literally slam you with all of these fees and fines for made up allegations. The US does the same thing, but when you encounter it here, it will irritate your soul.
I guess.
That's why you want to go to the least corrupt countries.
I guess for me, because I was thinking about it, like, man, which countries is the least corrupt? They have a list, right? Or which country is the best of hiding their corruption?
I don't think that's it,
That's
though. I
that's how I
disagree.
see it. Because
I disagree.
I mean, I haven't been to these countries, so I don't know. You know
You've
how?
been to these countries.
Yeah, but exactly. Man, yeah. Just the other day, somebody told me something
I
where it's
mean, there's
like
stuff everywhere, though.
it's
We're
not on
talking
the
about,
list. Exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's corruption everywhere. So that's how I see it. Which country is the best at hiding their corruption? All right, we gotta hurry up. This phone about to die.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying because I think there's a difference. Like, if you because we know people who are in Ghana. We can use this as an example. And we know people who have moved from Tanzania to Ghana.
Mhm.
I know we're probably thinking about
And
the
that was
same person.
corruption.
Listen though, because she said that in Ghana she had a much better time and saw way less corruption from a bureaucratic standpoint. The corruption was done on the Eastern African side.
Yeah, I like I said, I think
And
it's
so when she was
who's the best at
dealing
hiding it.
when she was dealing with immigration in Ghana, she did not have issues.
Because you
And
got,
people have said that over and over. When they're dealing with Ghanaian immigration, it's not an issue
I guess
because they're least on corruption.
I guess with me saying that, I think about the hand that's over the country. Most countries is from the French, Germany. You get what I'm saying? Britain and stuff like that.
France, yeah.
So, and we hear stories about people throwing money to Africa to clean their money or just to sustain their money. They might
In
buy
Eastern Africa.
20 or 200, 300 acres of land and just keep it there, just so their money can be safe. So it's stories that I think about like that, where it's literally big money that's really moving around, but they really not saying nothing because that's literally sustaining the whole country.
The struggle. Oh man, that's a struggle.
Yeah,
That's
we hear this,
that's a
and
little
it's just like,
struggle.
dang.
That was in
We don't
Eastern
think about
Africa.
it. We don't think about it, but I think it's everywhere.
But again, that was in Eastern Africa.
But that's just the stories I hear.
When you look at South and Western Africa, they're least corrupt. They hit the list. When you look at the list, you want to see which regions are repeatedly on this list. And you'll come to a consensus. Oh, there's certain regions that do things a little bit differently than other regions. This was a good topic though. Good.
Hey,
they're going to get a
that's-
lot of
that's-
value from this.
That's how I feel. I
Learned
think
experience,
who's the best
lived experience.
because it's a big hand over these countries until they break it.
Yeah, the big hands all over the world.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's like once you really start to understand, you're not a conspiracy theorist person. You get what I'm saying?
You're not a conspiracy theorist.
You'd be like, okay,
That's hilarious.
okay. Is there any more questions? Anybody? Let's see.
Americans like fixed prices, which is fine. Haggling is major. Yeah. If you speak more local language, you can barter prices. Exactly. Exactly. No one dies from bartering.
Yeah, because you got to think about
Yep.
Magufuli.
He was
how
great.
he was cleaning up the country. He was
Yeah.
literally killing people, and I was right.
He was not playing.
Like,
Yeah,
we
if you
hear
look at the
stories.
Bible, that's right.
We
Because
heard
you're not
stories
gonna
from
just
people like
ruin
that.
an entire nation out of your
Like
greed.
the last president of Tanzania, he was kicking out the people that was doing all the corruption. Most of the people now that's in Tanzania, what they say, the people with money now. Oh,
They hated him.
We did not like Magufuli because they was doing so much corruption. Like
He's-
big corruption, like 80,
Yeah.
90. They get some money and buy 90 SUVs with it.
Y'all, we
And
got
that's
stories
just-
for
that's
days.
Little money. That's little money.
The struggle
How you gonna buy 90 brand new SUVs?
with the COVID loan.
That's brand new. Each SUV at least $90,000 US.
That's the type of corruption you see in Africa.
So it's like it's
Oh
big.
gosh, that's
It's big
horrible.
stuff happening that we don't see. And even if, especially, just say you do find that person, if you get that person locked up, that person will have enough money to say, "Come on, man, just push this aside. Here's some money for you for 5 years. Leave me alone."
Yeah, like the rich in America do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rich folks everywhere, greedy folks everywhere. Greedy folks come in every color.
Really. Nice.
Greed has no what you call it. Greed does not discriminate. Oh gosh. There can be no corruption in one function and corruption in another in that particular country.
I guess thank you for, that's literally what I'm trying to say.
That's true.
It's if it's a pinch of sand of corruption.
A little leaven leavens the whole lump.
Exactly. Say it again.
A little leaven leavens the whole lump.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. So you want to try to be somewhere where they don't got the leaven.
Yeah.
Because that's true. That's true. We had stories from friends recently. We that would be for members only. We ain't gonna say that. If y'all want to hear the stories, they're recent. Go subscribe to members only. I think we have too many stories, but it's really good. We need to write a book
Maybe
for the diaspora.
yeah, we'll go live one day and just tell our stories.
Oh gosh.
Put
Good gosh,
put
deliverance.
put a 7 in the chat if you want us to go live one day with all the stories that we have since we've been here in Africa.
We'd have to
Even
write them
before,
down.
I don't know.
It
It's so
starts from
much.
before.
Yeah,
Oh
but yeah.
man. Oh man. Oh man. We got so much experience, y'all.
But somebody,
It's hilarious.
it's another question here. Local business.
Which countries in Africa are open to do business locally?
I think all the countries.
All of them, but you
gotta-
want to watch out for the bureaucratic fees. Is what you everyone is open pretty much and has the availability, but are you going to be dealing with some form of governmental jealousy where people want to take and take and take money from you?
Yeah.
So you want to go again the least corrupt African countries.
You gotta know what's because that's a good business. Local business is good business because you're gonna be selling to the local people.
As long as you don't get got.
Yeah, but you gotta. I mean,
You
if
gonna
you're
be
doing
losing
business,
out.
I guess I'm thinking
Because we know people that look local business opened up shops. The
but
next thing you know,
I don't know.
let's go to these corrupt countries.
You gotta be humble enough to have a local business. You can't be there like your face on a local business.
Ooh, that's good. Don't put
That's
your
just what
face
it
on the
is.
local business. Thank you. That's good. Tell them
That's-
that.
that's
Can
just
you
what it is.
elaborate? What do you mean don't put your face on
You
it?
don't have to be like, oh, this is my business. No,
Right.
like you gotta
Right.
have that trusted person to do the business. You
And
come in,
yep.
check, you act like a customer. Go and pay for your business. Like if you got people just say selling fruits and vegetables for you, you got mama, you can have a whole restaurant locally
Yeah.
and be good.
Yeah.
You
And
can
nobody
literally-
knows you
and
own it.
Nobody knows you.
There you
own
go.
it.
That's how you do it.
That's how you literally do it. You can have somebody. You can sell vegetables there, right?
Yep.
You take 2, 3, 4, 5 steps over. You know they cooking chicken and stuff.
Yep.
You know you take 3, 4, 5 steps over. People selling eggs.
Yeah.
That's a whole restaurant right there. And,
Exactly.
you know, you don't have to be like, oh, this is my restaurant. You go there pretty much every day. Oh yeah, I love this restaurant.
Yep.
I'm eating my food. You know, I go there for lunch.
Yep.
You know, you have a mama in the morning cooking some soup, the stuff that the local people like.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yep. But you do also want to have your American investments because understand
Yeah,
that's another
of
thing
course.
you'll experience when you're doing business locally in Africa. It's not going to be profitable the first 5 years. Already, whenever you're opening a business, the first 5 years, it's not going to be profitable. Add on top of it the currency exchange. And so you're thinking this is going to be livable. It's going to be something where you're dumping your money.
Yeah.
So you're going to have resources in America and a business that's based in America. You'll have to. You don't have to
gotta
physically be in
you gotta
America,
have
but
that income coming in
yep.
every week, every month. And
Yep.
then because if you open a business here, I think it's best to do what I just said. Have 3 or 4 businesses right next to each other in a way where it can benefit just one thing.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be dumping some money into the business.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
You will. And that's even in America. That's business. And so you just add on that you don't know how business works in these local economies. That's why it's good the first year. You want to just sit back and chill. Don't be in a rush to just throw your money away, right? Don't just throw all your money away just because you're in a rush.
Yes.
Truth seekers, I'm excited. I probably can make it on Social Security. Yes, absolutely. You'll be able to. Absolutely. Which countries in African countries are best for real estate property? Ooh, that's a good
I say
one.
every country. You just got to know the real estate.
Yeah.
The country
Yeah.
that we're in now, they're literally building to sell.
Yeah.
They're building big old apartments, putting furniture in there,
Yeah.
and say, hey, this apartment's for sale.
Yeah.
2 or 3 bedroom apartments.
Exactly.
I'm like, whoa, dang! So we could just buy some it's a tourist thing too. They say this is for tourists. 300 units in an apartment,
Yep.
and they sell it
Yeah.
each one.
So yeah, look out for the African countries that value tourism. Kenya, Tanzania, Namibia,
In Ghana,
Ghana.
might as
Ooh,
well
Ghana's
just
great.
where's
Ooh,
that?
Ghana's excellent on real estate. I'm like, let me pop over there real quick. Y'all willing? Let me pop over there.
Might as well just do the whole list.
Yeah, back to the least corrupt, honestly, because all Rwanda, Rwanda is phenomenal on real estate. I have some connections on my business profile with real estate in Rwanda, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya. Those are the top four that always pop up for some reason for experts in the diaspora who really that are entrepreneurs and that don't rely on a 9 to 5. They actually invest. They always say Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Rwanda for real estate. There's like the top four.
Yeah,
Top four.
we hear. What's I about to say? South Africa too,
Somewhat South
because you
Africa.
got to think. Um, the villages that we be seeing and stuff
Hmm.
is built up. So
Yeah.
they probably
Like
gonna do that a lot.
Mapumalangu.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It looks beautiful. Man.
Even Mauritius.
Yeah.
I know they have a lot of like from what we see, the videos that we see, it's it's in a way like I don't want to say like America, but it's an African American vibe.
I wouldn't say
American
American. Put it like this. They have systems and they stick to the systems. It's
Yeah.
not scattered and messy.
Yeah.
So when they're building, when they're doing business, when they're having real estate, it looks similar to what you're used to with like documents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It looks similar to that, where you have these well planned out estates.
Exactly.
Is the process to purchase land in Tanzania easy and reasonable price? The price is way super beyond reasonable. It's like insanely reasonable. Like you will utterly be shocked.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now the question is, how
Like
long
the
will you be
local
staying in
people,
the
yeah.
country, and how much money will you be splurging to do that?
Mm.
So that's why it's helpful. Again, we tell y'all there's no harm in figuring out which tribe in Africa you come from, because a lot of us are from West Africa where they give citizenship. Why would you not want to figure out where you're from? Right? Imagine you had an African passport and you just come in freely. There's no red tape around immigration. That's an asset. That's a pretty nice asset, especially if they do dual citizenship. That's a nice asset.
Somebody said this.
A lot of land issues in Ghana. That's what I hear. That's what I hear and see on YouTube. What would it cost to move a room of furniture?
The Tanzania.
A room of furniture?
Too much.
Oh yeah, we don't. Oh no.
We always advise people don't ship unless you really
Don't
like,
do it.
I say we only heard one kind of good story.
I haven't heard any good stories. Everybody spends thousands overly what they
I guess
expected.
you gotta get set up right. You gotta have a local person that's literally trying to help you and not trying to rip you off. It's yeah,
Because you'll
don't
still get
suggest
ripped
it.
off.
Yeah, but you still gonna have to pay thousands and thousands.
That you didn't take into account.
Yeah.
And so unless you're moving, if you're like a refrigerator business person and you just need like 10 refrigerators that you have to ship, that's the only, like, you're not going to just ship furniture. That's going to, and I don't want to be rude, that's not going to be a wise decision when there's no shortage of furniture in Tanzania.
Yeah.
There's no
They
shortage
build
of furniture
from scratch, and
Yeah.
it's cheaper.
and it's nicer. It's like hardwood, like
Yeah.
extremely wonderful furniture.
So I say if you're gonna ship something, do what you was just saying. Like
Yeah.
refrigerator, something that's gonna like laptops, use laptops or something like that. Use phones.
Yeah, if you're
something
opening
like
a
that,
tech
yeah.
business, something, if you need to ship stuff
If you
like
need to
that.
ship stuff like that. Because I wish before we left, I would have shipped these ACs over here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're funny.
Doesn't matter because I was working at a warehouse called Linux, and
That is a good.
they've been open for like
That's
hundreds
fair.
of years. And I asked, hey, do you have companies in Africa? They say, yeah, we have South Africa. I think they said maybe like somewhere in West Africa too.
Probably Ghana.
But I can really see that being a good business because they build so much and they try to uh, please the tourists. And what do tourists like? They like AC.
Yeah.
They love. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't like AC. I like natural wind blowing, fan. But
Yeah.
that's something that I mean, like, hey, if you're gonna go into shipping, you got to partner with a big company like that and say, hey, I can start up a startup here. Maybe we can do. Let's test it out or something. Hey, let's do a 40-foot shipping container
Right.
filled with
That would be
ACs.
smart. Yeah.
I
That's
can.
free game.
I'm already over here. I can
Yeah.
get the warehouse set up. I can get the clientele. I can go meet with people that's
Yep.
already building. I can,
Yep.
do stuff like that. So you gotta like think like that.
Yeah.
That's something that
That's
I wish I
excellent.
did.
Yeah. Looking back.
Looking back,
Yeah. Absolutely.
because that could have been set up. That could have been just running by itself,
Yeah.
and we'd have been good.
Yeah. Absolutely, for sure.
Or we still are good, but yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good because a lot of people work in some of these companies like you worked in America, and having those strategic connections and partnerships to
Yeah.
expand in Africa.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, you don't have to, but if that's what you want to do.
Good.
Yeah, that was good. That was super good. And then again, lastly, residence. You want to be in a country that has the longest residence possible. You don't want to be playing around with these 2-year residences. That's what we learned. Going forward, we will not be playing around with countries that do 2-year
That's a
residence
good question.
when there are countries in Africa that have 5 and 10-year residences.
This is basically you answering the question here.
Oh, I like that. Can you tell us 3 things you wish you knew before moving to Tanzania?
What you
I
was just
wish I
saying.
knew. I'm trying to put it in the right context because
So-
when we left, Tanzania was the only country open.
It's. I mean, we answer the question, but we don't like to think like that
Yeah.
because it is what it is. But
What I wish I knew. I wish I knew about this country that I'm in. I wish I knew that there are countries in Africa, and these may not actually these weren't around in 2020, so it's a little different. But if they had been around, I wish I would have known about digital nomad friendly countries in Africa because it takes out so much money that you're going to waste by being in a country that resonates with remote work and with tech entrepreneurship. That's number 1. Number 2, what else I wish I knew? That's like number 1. I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think what I wish I knew before going to Tanzania. I wish I knew what bureaucratic corruption looked like. I didn't know. We didn't know anything about like what you only hear about it in America. And so I wish like the African people that I knew in the States, I wish I would have asked them more strategic questions about what does corruption really look like in Africa. I wish I would have known that for sure because I didn't have any basis for that coming from America. I've dealt with corruption in America and it's just different than Africa. You mostly see it in the business sector in Africa. And so that's why you have people that are millionaires that will not tell you they're millionaires in Africa. Nobody will know who they are, what they do. They're trying to keep it under wraps for a reason because they know the institutions are going to come and try to give them outrageous, whatever.
what'd you say?
Number 1, I wish I knew about digital nomad visas in Africa. Number 2, I wish I knew what bureaucratic corruption looked like. So I wish all the African people that I knew in America, I wish I would ask them strategic questions. What is corruption in Africa's context? Like, what does that look like from a business standpoint? Because that's where you find the most amount of corruption in Africa from a business standpoint. And this is not only being American. We've talked to people who are Tanzanians and Kenyans who were born, their families have been there for generations. They own some of the largest hotels. And guess what they say?
So,
The revenue authorities came and tried to take 50% of their money. And there's nothing they can do about it. It sucks. It's horrible, but
yeah, it's local.
that's
people.
what they do.
That's just what.
That's
they do.
correct.
And,
That's what they do.
For me, I don't know. I guess the same thing. Just how to move easier here, like long term, like 10 years at a time.
Right.
5 years at a time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. When I think about it, every time I try to think about it, it's like, man, I don't got no regrets.
That's good though. 10
Yeah,
years, 5 years at a time,
but that's
because there
pretty
are
much the only
countries like
thing.
that.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that I think about.
Yeah.
We knew.
Yeah. Because the country, I mean, and there's so many of them. If you just Google search African countries with 5-year visas, you're like, oh, let me put some of my money to the stocks in, since I ain't got to spend it all. Oh, cool. Let me invest my money then. Let me save my money. Absolutely. So yeah, that's what y'all can learn from our early beginnings in Africa. Think more long term. Don't think for the next few years if possible. Try to think 10 years out. Try to think 5 to 10 years long term. Okay, what does this really look like? What do you know about tongue twister. Good deliverance. Good gosh.
Good.
Oh gosh. My sides hurt. I got a cramp. Oh man. Laughing. Okay. Digital nomad visas. Yeah, look into the workcation visa in Seychelles. Look into the new South African digital nomad visa that was just released like 3 months ago.
Don't Kenya got like a retire? Is it retirement 35?
K2 had
K2, yeah.
the K2 visa in Kenya. If we were over 35, we would probably be in Kenya, because that visa is very, very nice.
Yeah.
They got a nice long-term visa. If you can prove that you make over, I think it was $2,000 or $3,000 per month.
Yeah. And what's important, because we just talked about this, because it's right fresh in my head, is you can prove that you make the money, but also prove what you put into the country.
Yeah.
Like just like whatever you pull out the ATM, whatever
Yep.
you swipe and stuff.
Yep.
If you spending some money in that country, I think that would be an easier time or an easier process for you.
Yeah, for the digital, depending on which country. It has to be a
Yeah.
digital nomad friendly country that actually values their like international presence. Another digital nomad friendly country, Namibia. Again, $62 6-month visa. I don't know if it's renewable, but that's just multiple residences. If you can have these multiple residences and you're thinking more strategically long term, instead of, okay, I'm just going to go here and be good for 2 or 3 years. Don't do that. Think long term. What does my life look like in 10 years? How much money will I have put out to be here? Because guess what? That money that you'll put out in 10 years, you could have put in your savings into the stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have put in your kids' retirement.
Oh, think about
you could
that
put in
too.
your business.
That's something I wish we would have did that before we left.
What?
Put some money in stocks and don't touch it.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 years.
Learn stocks.
It probably would have been
Learn
way out the
stocks.
roof now.
I'm glad we're into stocks now. It's great to look at.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But yeah, that's another thing. That doesn't necessarily have to do with Africa, but that goes into planning, where y'all can open these bank accounts and start using your funds wisely. You don't have to start with big amounts.
Yeah.
Make your money work for you and make money. That's wisdom. Be wise.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it really is wisdom.
yeah,
Trading is biblical
yeah,
because that's what they did in the Bible.
yeah. Trade those resources. Use wisdom. Yeah, there's so much good stuff y'all got from this. Any last questions? What about getting permanent residency in a country? For us, we're not worried about that too much because we have Western African countries to fall back on for citizenship. And so that's why we wouldn't tell y'all none that we don't already have. Before I left America, before we left, we got our tribal DNA, or at least I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I know it's going to come in handy when I want my citizenship. Right? So for me, I'm not going to get permanent residency in any country besides my citizenship that can be dual in Sierra Leone. Now I will have like a residence for just like your digital nomad visas, your self-employed visas like that, but I'm not going to risk my passport in West Africa for some of these other countries. I'd rather just literally invest back into my people, my tribe.
Yeah. You gotta think biblical
We're
too.
family. Shalom, Sierra Leone. Where my Sierra Leonean family? Timney tribe. Where y'all at?
She about to go
Invite
crazy.
me home.
But I was saying you gotta think
Oh
biblical
gosh.
too, because we are journeying. Like that's biblical. They
Yeah.
always journey around the world. They
Yeah.
always journey around,
The
Africa,
promised
the
land.
promised land. You're gonna journey. So that's the promise of the Most High. You're gonna be good everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Have
I
your.
don't think it's gonna be no pass. It's the passport. I want a whole world passport.
I
Whole,
don't.
whole Africa passport. So I don't have to.
That don't exist yet.
Soon.
Sorry.
You gotta know Most High
Soon.
working mysterious.
Oh
ways.
yeah, it's gonna happen
It's
soon.
gonna happen.
It's coming.
So yeah.
But yeah, long-term residents. If I were you, I would check out your tribe. I really would, because it's foolish for us to.
She's stupid.
This is something I would change too. A lot of us go to Africa and we don't even care to see what's going on in West Africa. And looking back, I think that's not smart. That's something that I would definitely change. When you come to Africa, also look into West Africa, because this is where most of us are from. It only makes sense to at least establish some kind of connections and start to get the lay of that land. Then, you have South Africa, East Africa. That's something I would definitely go back and be like, okay, I would do that a little bit differently. What do you think? Because you're Nigerian.
Like I just said,
I would do that a little different.
We'll do it, but I know that the Most High's promise is about to fall on this earth soon. So, the phone about to die. That's
Oh, the phone's going